Losing a loved one is undeniably one of life's most profound challenges. Amidst the heavy emotional toll of grief, families are often faced with making complex and sometimes overwhelming end-of-life decisions. While honoring their memory is always the primary focus, the practical reality of final arrangements brings an unavoidable financial consideration into the picture. It can feel daunting to weigh numbers while processing a loss. In this guide, we will gently navigate these tough choices together. We'll provide an empathetic and clear breakdown comparing cremation and burial costs. Our goal is to empower you with the knowledge you need, helping you make the best decision for your family's unique situation. Losing a loved one is one of the most profound and overwhelming emotional experiences we face in life. In those first few days, grief consumes almost every waking moment, and simply finding the strength to comfort one another and move forward can feel nearly impossible. But alongside this heavy emotional toll, there's often a hidden practical burden that follows closely behind. As families try to navigate the shock of their loss, they are suddenly forced to make significant, permanent financial decisions, often with little to no prior preparation or clear guidance. The reality is that end-of-life expenses can add incredible financial strain to an already vulnerable time. Understanding the true differences in cost between cremation and traditional burial isn't just about budgeting dollars and cents. It is about protecting your family from unexpected hardship and giving them the peace and space they need to mourn without the looming anxiety of mounting bills and sudden debt. When we think of laying a loved one to rest, the traditional burial is often the first image that comes to mind. It provides a permanent, physical place for families to visit, remember, and mourn. However, it is also generally the most expensive end-of-life option available. To understand why a traditional burial carries such a significant financial weight, we need to step back and look at the full picture, breaking down the individual components that make up the final bill. The most recognizable, and often the largest, is the casket. Depending on the craftsmanship and materials, whether standard steel, solid mahogany, or copper, a casket ranges anywhere from $2,000 to well over $10,000. In addition to the casket, most modern cemeteries require a burial vault or grave liner. This concrete outer receptacle prevents the ground from settling and caving in, adding another $1,000 to $4,000. Next, you must factor in the cemetery plot itself. The cost of this resting place varies drastically based on location. A plot in a tranquil rural area might cost $1,000, while a premium space in a major city can easily exceed $5,000. To memorialize the site, families purchase a headstone. Whether you select a flat bronze marker or an intricately carved upright granite headstone, expect to spend an additional $500 to $3,000. Finally, we must account for professional fees. If a public viewing is held, funeral homes typically require embalming and cosmetic preparation, which costs between $500 and $1,000. Funeral directors also charge a mandatory basic services fee for coordinating arrangements, securing permits, and sheltering the remains. This fee usually ranges from $2,000 to $3,000. When you compile all these expenses, a traditional burial routinely costs between $8,000 and $15,000, or significantly more. Cremation has steadily become the preferred choice for many families today, offering a more streamlined and often significantly more affordable alternative to a traditional burial. Let's take a closer look and break down the associated expenses. The most significant expense is the core cremation service fee, typically ranging from $1,500 to $5,000. This essential fee covers transportation of the deceased, necessary permits, the funeral director's basic services, and the actual cremation itself. Direct cremation usually falls on the lower end. Next, you will need to select an urn to hold the remains. Unlike the hefty price tag of a traditional casket, urns are much more financially manageable. Depending on the materials used, prices typically range from $50 for a simple container up to $500 or more for an ornate, customized piece. Opting for cremation certainly doesn't mean skipping a memorial service. Because the body isn't present, this event can be hosted almost anywhere, giving families the ultimate flexibility to plan a meaningful memorial without the high costs of traditional funeral home viewings.
Finally, you must decide on the final disposition of the ashes. Scattering ashes in a beautiful, natural setting, like a calm lake or quiet forest, is often completely free. Alternatively, purchasing a columbarium niche provides a permanent memorial space, adding a few hundred to a few $1,000s to the overall cost.
When we put traditional burial and cremation side by side, the financial differences become starkly clear. It is time to look at where your hard-earned money actually goes.
According to recent national averages, a traditional burial with a vault costs around $9,400. In contrast, a cremation with a viewing and memorial service averages closer to $7,000. But if you choose direct cremation without the added services, your total costs can plummet to between $1,000 and $3,000. Where exactly does that massive price difference come from? With cremation, you bypass several large, mandatory expenses tied to a physical burial. You immediately eliminate the need for an expensive wooden or metal casket, a concrete burial vault, and the high costs of purchasing and maintaining a cemetery plot. These three items alone account for thousands of dollars in savings, keeping more money in your family's pocket. When deciding between cremation and burial, the final price tag is rarely a flat rate. Your location plays a massive role. Average costs can swing by thousands of dollars depending on the specific state and city you reside in. The type of service you choose also heavily dictates the budget. A large, formal church service will naturally cost significantly more than a small, intimate family gathering at home or a unique outdoor memorial in nature. Finally, additional memorialization options like headstones or custom urns, along with the specific pricing structures of your chosen funeral home, quickly add up. Browsing and comparing packages carefully is essential. Ultimately, choosing between cremation and burial is a deeply personal decision. By having open discussions with your loved ones and consulting with trusted funeral professionals, you can find a path that honors both your heartfelt wishes and your financial reality. The most empowering step you can take today is to start the conversation. Remember to pre-plan your arrangements, discuss your options openly, and compare costs. Making these decisions ahead of time brings peace of mind to you and your family. Planning a final farewell for a loved one, or even yourself, is never an easy conversation. But as we have explored today, understanding the financial realities of both cremation and traditional burial is one of the most powerful ways to protect your family's future and secure your peace of mind. By taking the time to compare these options, you are lifting a heavy burden off the shoulders of those you love most. You do not have to navigate this journey alone. For more in-depth guides, cost calculators, and compassionate resources tailored to your specific needs, please visit funeralus.com. If you found this financial guide helpful, please give this video a like, subscribe to our channel for more valuable advice, and share your own experiences or questions in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and we wish you and your family the very best.